Welcome to Living Well with April and Shelly,
where we're raising kids, eating right, spending smart,
and living well. Welcome to the May edition. And today we have a special guest here on our program, the one and only Mr. Johnny Barnes, who is our agriculture agent in DeKalb County and also happens to be your husband, Shelly.
That's right, he does.
So welcome, Johnny, and thank you for taking time to be with us today on Living Well. And we just like to highlight some of the staff that we work with, and I work with you on a daily basis. And first off, we just want to talk a little bit about what you do in your program. I can think of, growing up, I guess the first remembrance I have of the county agriculture agent was from the show Green Acres. I don't know, y'all might be too young to remember Green Acres, but Hank Kimball, was the county agent that would go out there and visit the farm and all that. So I guess that's my first remembrance.
Yeah, and we watch that show at our house. Actually, our kids love that. We call it Green Acres and Ham. They think that's funny, and they definitely think Mr. Kimball's one of the funny guys, don't they?
So, Johnny, take us through what a typical day is like for an agriculture agent here in DeKalb County working for UT Extension.
Well, thank you, April and Shelly, both for having me today. It's always nice to talk a little bit about what we do in Extension, and yeah, that's a good example. Sometimes, especially if it's people I think who may have ever watched Green Acres, I will say, do you remember Mr. Kimball? He may have not given us the best name for Extension work, but he was a friendly face and was always out and about visiting farmers and doing things, providing information at least to those local farmers. And that's kind of what we do in Extension as an ag agent. The one thing I really love about my job is that every day is different, and we get to do a lot of different activities with our local homeowners and farmers, and it may be teaching them programs such as beef production or small ruminant production, or it may be teaching them about gardening or home horticulture. So there's kind of a wide variety of things that we can help people with on a daily basis, especially in the field of agriculture.
Gotcha. So I know right now, this is a busy time. People are starting to think about planting and their gardens and everything. Are you starting to get a lot of questions?
Yeah, in the springtime, definitely questions start picking it up about their lawns, about their home gardens, flowers, insect identification. So start getting a lot of those questions, and people coming by the office or giving us a call to come out and maybe look at their garden site or look at a tree or a shrub, that kind of thing. So it's one of those things I always tell everyone, I might not know the answer myself, but we will find the answer for you through the UT Extension Service. We have a wide variety of specialists in all areas of agriculture that we can send pictures to or give calls or emails to and answer questions that way. So it's a really good relationship that we have with the people in our local community. I enjoy going out and meeting and talking to people. It's really rewarding to see those new people who've moved into the community. Lots of times those are some of more frequent questions, I guess. Maybe people who aren't as familiar with the area that may have a question about growing a particular plant or how diseases may affect us in this particular region of the state. So it's a really fun job in that respect, and I really enjoy getting to work with those people that have questions on a daily basis.
What are the top questions that you tend to get? I guess it depends on what time of year it is too, but what are some of your main questions people call about?
This time of year especially, as we're getting in kind of getting close to planting season or being around it, what kind of, what disease is this affecting this particular plant? Or, my tomatoes didn't grow very well last year. What can I do different this year? I've seen these bugs start to crawl around. What is this? So those are some kind of common questions I guess you would get. One of the first things I generally tell people, especially if they haven't used us before or talked with me before, have you done a soil test? And particularly if they've had some issues in the past, or if maybe they're just new, maybe they don't know if that place has ever had a garden on it before. They're worried about, is their garden going to produce well, or whatever plants it may be. So I generally try to recommend a soil test, and I try to highlight those all year long. And I generally start trying to promote those heavily in the fall, because I tell them, fall is a good time to start doing your soil test. You can do this fall through the winter, and that way you can already get your analysis and be ready for planting season when we get to the springtime of the year. So I really like getting that soil analysis done, because it gives you the pH balance of your soil, and that is one of the biggest detriments, I think, of growing anything, determining if your soil is too acidic or not acidic enough for the particular plants that you might be growing. And then also it gives you fertilizer recommendations, so you can choose different crops that you would like to know about, such as tomatoes or corn, or maybe it's your lawn, and it can give you fertilizer recommendations for it as well.
So Johnny, on the table we've got some things related to soil testing, so do you want to go over some of those things?
Yeah, this right here is a soil probe, and it's a useful tool. We have them here at the Extension office that people check out and use, or I take it with me sometimes and go out and help people with their soil sampling. You can use a shovel, and a lot of people do that themselves, but the soil probe's a little bit easier and faster. It's what I like to use, and you can kind of see the profile of the soil once it's in the collection tube. And you collect the soil from around the different areas of the area that you're wanting to get an analysis done for, and we send those off to our soil lab in Nashville, and they can get an analysis, and you put it in this little soil box. And it's always amazing. People are always kind of wowed by, you collect generally, a pretty good amount of soil, maybe in a plastic bucket, but then when you collect it all and mix it together, this is the little box that we're actually sending in, because they don't really need very much soil at all to do the analysis on. And there's some calendars here that are one of the more useful publications that I hand out from time to time. I really like the vegetable and garden calendar, especially because we have a lot of those questions from homeowners, and I like to give those out at the beginning of the year, because it always has lots of good tips in it to remind you about different times of tasks that you can be doing each month to get prepared for gardening, or things that you're doing during the year while you're gardening. So it's a really useful tool that I like to hand out, and it's one of the publications I get asked for.
I need one of those, because I just started some tomato seedlings in my little tray, so I don't have a green thumb.
Me neither.
Well, in today's world, especially, there are so many different varieties. We're not we're not really boxed in as much anymore. So everyone, you can order seed and plants from all across the United States and the world, really. And so people have different questions sometimes about plants. Are they good to grow here and things, because it's so easy to get things shipped in. So sometimes I have to remind people, there might be a reason that we don't grow those types of plants here in this region, but it's something I think that nobody can be an expert on it, because you're constantly learning, and you're getting a different environment every year, depending on the weather and how much rainfall we get every year.
So this publication is an actual calendar, and I note that it tells you different things that's happening in different parts of Tennessee. So no matter if you're going to move or if you're going to stay here in Middle Tennessee, it tells you exactly what you need to do when you need to do it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's very useful for that. Like I said, I think we all know population seems to be growing. We have lots of people moving in, and they may be from a different part of the state or a different state altogether, so they may not be used to this environment. And anybody that's been around Tennessee very long, our state is very varied, from all the way from west all the way to the eastern tip of of the state. So we have a wide range of environments, and it can definitely be useful in helping you give tips for what to do at different times of the year.
It's exciting.
What are some of the other programs that you do, Johnny, that are like some of your big programs that you undertake?
Well, along with our homeowners who are doing gardening and taking care of their lawns and stuff, we also help with production agriculture. We still have a large, agricultural population here in this county and, of course, across the state. We still have a lot of cattle producers, so master beef is one of the classes that's one of the more popular things that we offer. We generally have an in-person class, per year. There's also been some online and hybrid classes that we offer to help people qualify for the Tennessee Ag Enhancement Program, so they can get some cost share funds to help them maybe buy equipment or improve their genetics of their herd. Also in small ruminant production, we have a few sheep and goat producers in the county and around the area that take advantage of those classes. So we offer those, and we have lots of different webinars and Zoom meetings and things that we also offer our farmers and local producers that can give them tips or answer questions about what's going on in the agricultural world. And of course the market, of course, hopefully that they can make a little bit of money on their production as well. So we have a few row croppers that we help with, and a lot of this, even the soil sampling is also obviously very beneficial to our farmers who need to know for fertilizer recommendations for their hay fields and pastures and row crops. And we have lots of nurseries in this area, so we have classes that we might have to do with pesticides and herbicides to qualify to purchase those. And so there's kind of a wide, varied system of agricultural production in this area, along with our homeowners who are doing their gardening.
And so I know we're talking about DeKalb County because you're stationed here in DeKalb County, but we also have those programs in Wilson County too.
Exactly, and they share a county line with us. We're right next door. They offer those same programs, and every office, every county across the state has an extension office. So you should be able to find you a local extension agent that can help you with any of these programs or answer these questions. And like I said before, a lot of times the agent may not know the answer, but we can find the answer for you. Mm-hmm. And we have research and education centers all across the state that do research in these areas all year long that give us research-based information that we can provide to the people in our communities to answer these questions or give them research-backed data that can help them in their future endeavors.
And that's something that's very unique about Extension is that's not just related to agriculture, that's family consumer sciences and 4-H youth development. We have specialists in all of those areas. So, we can't be the end-all be-all for people, but we have lots of connections at the universities to help us with those questions.
And a lot of people don't realize where the name Extension comes from, but we are an extension of the land-grant university, which is University of Tennessee, as well as Tennessee State University. And our website is utk.tennessee.edu, if I got that right. But if you don't know who your county extension staff are, and if you're needing the agriculture agent, or you need the 4-H agent, or the family consumer science agent, you can go to that website and look up your county and find out what phone number you need to call.
And I think we'll put that in the link below.
Yes, we'll try to put that in the link. Yeah. Well, Johnny, have you got anything coming up this summer that you might tell everybody about or that needs to be promoted to let everybody know?
Well, here in the local area, of course, we have lots of community events that go on. They go on all year long, but of course, as the weather warms up, people want to get outside more and do some of those things. So, of course, lots of things here in our community, and really that's a great thing about the state. We have a wonderful network of state parks across our state and particularly here in this area. So I encourage people to get out, enjoy those natural resources that we have, do things with your family or your children and friends, and get out there and enjoy those types of activities. Of course, a lot of our counties across the state have county fairs that'll be starting up very soon.
Or state fairs.
Or the state fair, of course, and those are wonderful events that you can go and see some of the results of the agriculture that's going on in your local community and see those exhibits and all the kind of wonderful things that are going on. That's one of the big kind of events generally in each county that we help and work with, and we're very involved with the DeKalb County Fair here. So we do a lot of work with that, so we'll be getting prepared. Ours is actually in July, so it's not very far away.
And the Wilson County Fair,
Wilson-
Tennessee State
yes.
Fair is in August.
Yes, so, and like I said, there's lots of our counties surrounding us that'll be having their fairs coming up. I believe the first one's taking place like the middle of June. So if you're in those counties surrounding us, be looking to participate in some of those activities. As far as the summer goes, in agriculture, like I said, we're helping those homeowners and farmers with any type of questions, maybe related to production or any things they may have, if a disease crops up or some type of insect that they're trying to battle. We can, help them with that. Like I said, we have a kind of a variety of options that our groups have started doing, some online resources for people. Our Upper Cumberland group of agents puts on a monthly webinar. This year we're kind of focused a little bit more on forages and questions and topics related to those throughout this year that we're offering to anybody that wants to log on, whether you're in this community or not. And so that's kind of an exciting thing. And like I said, getting ready for some of our community events that are coming up across the summer. And y'all mentioned youth. We've got all kinds of 4-H events that are going on throughout the summer, and it really takes the whole team. So we have 4-H agents in this county, but we all kind of work together to help some of those events take place as well.
So Johnny, speaking of youth, that's one of the things when I think about spring and summer, I think about how kids need to be outside. We know that research tells us that they don't get outside enough. And just our own kids, we can tell when they just need to go. They need to go outside. They're getting antsy or argumentative. They just need to go outside. What are some agricultural related activities that kids could do outside?
That's a good question. And of course, I know a lot of us, we like to provide our kids with all kinds of activities that are going on, when you're out of school. Of course, everybody, you've got sports going on and, maybe church activities, vacation Bible schools, that kind of thing that are going on in the summer. But you may be looking for some more kind of daily things that you can do with your children. One thing, that I think is really a neat thing that you can do with your children. They're probably more interested maybe when they're younger, but if you've got a garden or, your lawn or flowers out there, do kind of a daily walk with your kids, teach them about weeding the garden, going out maybe in the early morning time and pulling weeds. It's a great way to get a little bit of exercise and be outside. But you also teach your children while you're out there with them, teaching them different plants that are growing, maybe looking at all those bugs and insects that may be crawling around your garden vegetables or your flowers. You can be teaching your children about those and how to battle those, I guess, and you can collect those. Also, a lot of those things that, if you're growing gardens, or maybe you can make, a lot of people are into crafting or making, all kinds of different projects they might have at home. Those are things you can enter in the fair, maybe in your local county fair or the state fair coming up later on in the year. Those are some wonderful things. And as well as taking advantage of your local parks. So we have a nice local park here in Smithville, the Greenbrook Park, as well as our state parks that are in our county and all the surrounding areas. So, those are some activities that are very inexpensive or free even, that you can take your children to and enjoy. Of course, lakes and creeks and rivers that are close by, you can enjoy those, whether it may be fishing or just taking a walk with your children. Those are a lot of things that we need to take advantage of because we have such a beautiful area here to live in, and all across the state offers those avenues, and I think it's a wonderful way of teaching your children and being outside with them. Whether you may not have a large farm to walk around with your children at, but you can walk around the yard or take them to one of the parks and do some learning activities with them and have some fun too.
And one of our favorite places in Lebanon is Fiddler's Grove Historic Village. It's open. That's a great place to go to with your family. I know that Ripley loves scavenger hunts, doesn't she? And it can just be, find all these things that we write down on a piece of paper, and you can, wherever you're going, you'll see a bird or you might see a butterfly this time of year. Hummingbirds are out, they're here. We saw them last weekend at my mom's house. So, just anything to get your family outdoors. And you don't have to have kids to go outside.
Exactly.
You can just go outside yourself. We know that makes us feel better, makes us have a better positive attitude. And so it really is good for living well.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. And how can people get in touch with you? They got a question.
Well, they can always contact us here at the UT Extension office in Smithville, Tennessee. Our address is 722 South Congress Boulevard. We're right in the middle of the county complex building, so we're easy to find. Of course, they can call the office, 597-4945, or contact me by email, jbarnes1@utk.edu, or especially this time of year, I'm out and about quite a bit, so feel free to call my cell phone, 615-289-1165, and we can get in touch with you in a variety of ways, or you can contact us in a variety of ways, and we're always happy to help and willing to offer anything that the public may need.
And if you're in Wilson County and you need to contact your ag agent, you need to speak with Lucas Holman, and we'll put his information below in the description of our video. But his email is lholman1@utk.edu. Well, Johnny, every time we have a guest on our show, we give them one of our Living Well mugs, and I know since I'm your wife, you're going to treasure it forever and keep the cartoon version of us and drink out of it daily.
Of course I will. Everybody, have a great day.
Well, until next time,
We're raising kids, eating right, spending smart, and living well. Bye, everybody.
Bye.